I was just talking to myself for like 5 minutes, y'all. Sound check, sound check.
They still can't hear you.
No, cannot hear me. Testing, testing. Can you guys hear me? Sorry for the technical difficulties. Are you hearing me now?
No.
No, that is strange. Testing, testing, testing. I don't see it. So it is coming in. Okay, it seems like there's a lag here. So I'm just gonna keep going. I can't hear anything. There you go. Thank you, Sam. I'm just having a little bit of technical difficulties with the sound, but it seems like it's coming in. It is 5:08. Appreciate the support, y'all. Thanks for helping me out with the sound check. Shout out to Yvette. Thank you, Yvette, for that. Thank you, Sam. Okay, we got sound. Thank you guys for hanging in there, tuning in there. I'm gonna jump into this. Like I said before, I literally just got in from doing maintenance on a food forest. So I am practicing what I preach. I'm practicing what I preach, and let me just get this thing started. So I'm your presenter here, Pablo. My name is Pablo, and tonight I'm going to be presenting tips for building your backyard edible ecosystem. I'm not going to make you guys wait any longer. I'm just going to jump right into it. So that's what we're talking about tonight. This is geared towards, let me switch screens real quick. This is geared towards Florida. So for anyone that's watching the replay or watching live right now, just keep in mind that you can do these same principles pretty much anywhere, but I'm going to be making recommendations for the Florida region. That goes with plants and everything like that. So I just want to say thank you again. I really appreciate everyone showing up. Whoever's showing up tonight, and I want to appreciate those who are going to catch the replay. Just special thanks. I'm going to say thanks to Yvette again for helping me on the back end. And thanks, Sam, and whoever's here tonight. I want to let you guys know, please submit your comments, your questions in the chat section. And after the presentation, I'm going to address them, and I'll hold some space for question and after the presentation. So, there's some stuff going on here, y'all. Like I said, I apologize for anything that's going on around me. I literally just got home. But anyway, I made a free downloadable guide that is going to dive deeper into the contents and information on this presentation. So if you want to dive deeper on the materials that I'm going to talk about tonight, download the free presentation, the free guide to this presentation. You can use the QR code. Guys, let me know in the comment section if the QR code is working, if you're seeing it, if you're able to download this, let me know. I'm really proud of this piece of information here, and just want to share some knowledge. All right, in the comment section, if you are a practitioner of gardening, of regenerative agriculture, or anything that ranges in that kind of green thumb area, working with the soil, leave a comment in the section, just letting us know what type of system you're working with. And let me take a sip. Cheers. So yeah, let us know who's in the who's here, who's visiting tonight, who's in the audience. What are you? What type of systems are you doing? Or are you gardening? Do you have interests? Do you have any expectations, or if you're looking to get into the edible space of edible landscaping or gardening or anything of that nature, just put it in the comment section. So here are a couple pictures of myself. I have been doing this for about 4 years, and this presentation is coming from a place of what I've all the information that I've gathered in that time. I've learned a lot. I've made mistakes. I've seen mistakes done. Um, and yeah, I just want to share the information that I've gathered through the time, and hopefully, this will inspire you to go out into your garden and interact with it and grow some food and build soil. So that's me. What I want everyone to take away from tonight's presentation, sides, most importantly, being inspired to get out into your spaces, to be stewards of your lands, of our lands. And I want to inspire people to do it and try to demystify, like, you know, ways that it can be done, and try to answer some of those questions there. But I have some bullet points here. I want to, from tonight's presentation, you'll be taken away. I'll be introducing you to regenerative growing methods, the importance of soil health and biodiversity, steps to building your own edible system, instant gratification systems for beginners. I'm going to recommend some plants and systems, practical tips and resources for further learning. And I'm going to mention again the guide. I'm going to have the QR code at the end again for those of you that missed it. I put together a guide that dives deeper into the information that I'm talking about tonight. It's a little windy here, so hopefully that doesn't mess with the audio. You guys let me know. I'm going to check the chat real quick just to make sure I'm doing good. So far, so good. All right. So, what's the importance of regenerative practices? The importance is um, nature is regenerative, right? If we model nature, if we try to mimic nature, what we're trying to do here is mimic nature. Nature is very intelligent, it knows best. And this image right here depicts that. It shows you a closed loop system. There's nobody in this image right here in this illustration that is bringing in fertilizer from Home Depot or Lowe's. There's nobody. It's an intelligent system. Everything is closed loop. Everything it needs is within the system, and that's what we're trying to do with regenerative practices. We're trying to mimic nature and how it intelligently designs everything around it, so everything can be supported through the system. It reduces the reliance on fertilizers and pesticides and things of that nature. Here's a picture that gives the description, that shows the illustration of what happens when we choose to use regenerative practices. Our lands look lush. We have good soil health. We have a lot of good organic matter on the top. And the picture on the left is an example, is an illustration of what happens when we're not taking care of our lands, when we're not stewarding our lands in holistic ways. And this is just a good representation to just the ecosystem in life in general. What do we want to do? Do we want to destroy, or do we want to give back and regenerate? So tonight I'm going to spotlight two different regenerative systems. Um, And the first one I'm going to talk about is food forest. Maybe you've heard of this type of landscaping, foodscaping, some might say. Maybe you've heard of it, but essentially it's a regenerative growing method, and it replicates natural ecosystems. That's the goal. These two systems are going to highlight how you can mimic nature into a backyard setting, or you can obviously increase and expand this same practice into larger settings. So a food forest, it's more wild in its style, and it focuses more on biodiversity. In this picture, you see here the different layers and how there's so many diverse species and types of plants, whether it be rooting or ground cover or whatnot. It's a biodiverse ecosystem. The second system I want to highlight tonight is the agroforestry rows. It's also a regenerative growing method. It also, which means it replicates natural ecosystems. It's more of a structured layout. You can see in this picture here, it's laid out in a very structural way where like uh, it, things are more linear, and it's ideal for optimized production. It's a very high intensive productive system, and it focuses on soil building. So that's agroforestry rows. I think it's I think the healthy approach to approaching your backyard system, the thing to think about is implementing, you know, a model of both of these systems, like a representation of both. In some areas, you want, more intensive production. Therefore, you're gonna like have more linear stuff and things that are easily to maintain. And then on on like for instance, maybe you want a very intensive a row of fruit trees. You're gonna focus more on building soil. Both of these systems, you want to focus on building soil, but the agroforestry role is really going to design the setup in a way that it's more focused on production and soil building. On the contrary, food forest is more of a diverse, spread out. It's not really focused entirely on maintenance. Where it can, it definitely can if you design it the right way. But lines are just easy to a structured line is easier to go in and maintain, so to speak. And I'm going to show you some more examples of that. But let's talk about tip number one that I have, which is the most crucial step. If there's anything you take away from tonight, I want you guys to take away, the listeners to take away. This is my 4 years of doing this, right? Like the most crucial thing that I've learned is build soil. You want to build soil. That is what's going to distinguish your experience and the success of your edible system. Chris Elder, I source him in my guide. He is a great Chris from Permaculture FX. He has a great blog and a lot of wonderful information, and I cite him in my guide. So if you want to learn more about him, check out my guide. But he says it best when it comes to talking about soil building. He says before you put in any plants, add organic matter to your soil. Soil regeneration is the key to your food forest health. And he's right. Like that is the most important thing. I want everyone to like focus, to prioritize in their mind that when you're trying to do a productive edible system, your main your main idea is soil building. That's what you want to do. That's going to help the success of your experience and of the plants and of everything around it. So another thing that I want to talk about is something I call instant gratification systems. Now, it's really easy to be discouraged when gardening or planting or anything like that because it's a marathon. Like you're not going to see results, you're not going to see things instantly, and that's also another nod to nature. Like things happen at a slow pace in nature. We can help accelerate these with these systems, but things typically in nature are, are slower in pace. So instant gratifications are something that offers quick results, right? I want people to have good experiences in their systems. And I think if you start out with something uh, that gives you quick results, like a banana circle, which I'm going to talk about in a second, then you'll build your confidence. You'll just enjoy the experience because you're not really overwhelming yourself, and you're getting this quick boost of confidence. And these systems typically focus on quicker harvests. They're excellent for people that's for just beginning, or even if you want to just retrofit or modify what you've been doing. This is a great way to pivot because it'll give you a quick boost of confidence and understanding on what it means to successfully uh, have a regenerative system. So a banana circle. Let's talk about banana circles. And this is a type of instant gratification system because it you typically get a harvest from bananas within 1 year. The banana circle is a system that caters to bananas by integrating a compost pile around the bananas. It's a high intensive production system. My buddy Sam, he actually has one. I was working with him tonight. Shout out to Sam again in Central Florida Abundance. But he has a banana circle on his property, and it's doing really great. I just saw it today. It's something that you can really learn how maintenance is around food forestry and agroforestry. You could learn a lot from a banana circle, and you're doing several things in one space. Like I said, you have a compost pile, and you have productive bananas that are going to just gobble up all that organic material that's being fed to them through that pit. So, um, annual crops are another form of gratification systems because annual crops typically have shorter lifespan. It's between like 3 to 6 months when you from seed to harvest, and you can integrate this into your system very easily. You know, in the banana circle, you can have some annual crops in there. My buddy Sam, he had some squash that he put into his banana circle, and you can integrate annual crops in your food forest, or if you just want to have like a raised bed or start with that, that's also a great way. In this picture there's a cinder block bed. You can use so many different materials to build this. It could be low cost, it could be, super cheap, depending on what materials you have. But start with something that's going to give you a boost of confidence, because this is a long game. This is a marathon, and you want to get, boosts of successes. So let's talk about the island method. So we just spoke about instant gratification things you can do to really give you a confidence boost. And the island method is a technique to help lower that overwhelm, right? I like to call it the fertility island. It's an intensive planting area. It focuses on building soil to help jumpstart fertility. And like I said, it promotes less overwhelm because let's read the quote here from David the Good. He said it best here, where he says, it's easier to manage a small oasis than it is to try and keep 50 fruit trees happy without irrigation and tons of mulch. David the Good said it great here, and he talks a lot about the uh, island method and the fertility islands. It's the way that I recommend for people to start, because it's a lot. If you bite off more than you can chew, you could have, weeds coming into your beds. You can have a population of pests that you just don't know what to do about, or what have you. Like, there's so many things that can go wrong, and if you just stay confined to a small area and gain success and build that soil, you'll have a lot of success for you to continue expanding. And here's a tip for when you want to expand. You start out with a, small guild, an island. And the other thing I'll say about that is, you want to start with about 2 to 3 fruit trees, main fruit trees, and then you can have like support species around it to either build soil or maybe pollinators. It depends on what you want to design. I said, remember in the beginning, I had mentioned kind of mixing up, trying to remix or adapt both food forest and agroforestry rows. In this setting, you can mix and match it. You can maybe do like, in your island, you can have an island that's just about food production. It's about fruit tree production, and you could plant, heavy producing soil builders on the edges of it and feed that. And then you can have another island that you can start later on, that focuses more on pollinators. You can have another island for specifically for herbs and maybe annual crops or something like that. But what I'm trying to say is, you want to start small, and you want to make sure that you design it in a way where it's either for production or it's for like biodiversity. So keep that in mind. But start with keeping it small, and then when you want to expand, you can use the sheet mulching method. It's basically a layered mulch technique. So once you got your, actually, this is the tip I would recommend to start your first island. You would use the sheet mulching method. This method is really successful, especially if you start it small. You can use a whole bunch of different materials. Basically, what you're doing is you're taking out the sod or the grass in the area that you want to put your island per se. And you can actually use that grass as well. You can flip it upside down, so that that's going to be organic material that's going to feed the system. And then you can put cardboard on top of that. The other steps are you could use chopped up leaves. You could use any type of carbon material, whether it be leaves, whether it be grass clippings, straw, sticks, and you want to stack it up into like a lasagna. And the last couple layers, um, you can top it off with compost and then like natural wood chips or something like that. Whatever you have. It's like I said, you just want to do some sort of like lasagna method for your first island. And that'll help, give it a whole diverse amount of different organic material to feed the system. And then after you do this, you can start extending your system with cover crops. And I'm going to talk about that in a second. But let's talk about this tip right here, which is a very important tip. Choose climate appropriate plants. I cannot stress how important that is to having a successful system. You want to choose plants that are appropriate for your zone. In Florida here, we're between zones 8, and 11. So depending on what zone you are, you want to make sure that it's appropriate for where you're at, and maybe you want to set up the conditions for it so that it can thrive in your setting. So let me slow down for a second. Let me take a sip. So we spoke about the islands. We spoke about instant gratification systems. Let's talk a little bit about the plant recommendations. These are plant appropriate recommendations for Florida. And these are the ones that I'm recommending right now. These are bulletproof plants. Like they have a wide range of different soil mediums and different things that different areas you can use them for. So cowpeas are a really great choice, especially for organic matter and uh, nitrogen fixing plant for call it green manure. It's a really great option for like green manure for green compost. If you may, cowpeas are really fantastic. They help with weed suppression and they're drought tolerant. And this specific cowpea right here is Movano cowpea. I was able to see this cowpea, this specific one. The great thing about this one is it doesn't climb up the trees; it stays low. And I was able to see this at Ever Oak. So shout out to Ever Oak. Ever Oak. I have a link to their Etsy shop if you want to get some seeds from them. Another really great soil building plant is pigeon pea. It has a wider range of benefits. Specifically, most importantly, it's a nitrogen fixing, and it has the peas as well. For anyone that's in a Puerto Rican household, gandules, that's what that is. You can use that for making rice and gandules or whatever it may be. So it serves a lot of purposes, and it's a great plant for soil building. Some additional plants that I recommend for soil building in the Florida region is lemongrass, Napier grass. I say use it responsibly because it can get very big, um, very fast, and it propagates from cuttings. So if it starts flopping over, it could start like actually propagating and getting bigger and whatnot. Same thing with Mexican sunflower. That's another really great soil building option, but use those responsibly. If you're gonna put those in, just know that you're gonna have to chop those up and kind of stay ahead of them. So let's talk about some fruit tree recommendations. Loquat is a really fantastic option, especially for Florida. It's a Florida friendly, Florida native plant here, and it's cold tolerant. So people up in the more northern region, it'll do really successful. Even in Central Florida, it's a really good option. Mulberry is a really great option. I specifically recommend the bigger varieties like the Pakistani one you see here in this picture to the left. Um, all the plants that I'm recommending are Florida friendly, like they have a wide range. Some additional fruit trees are, I had mentioned earlier, bananas. Bananas is definitely a great one. Papayas are a great fruit tree. Persimmon as well, and guava. Those are some really great um, other additional options. And I have more options, more suggestions in the guide that you can download. So here's a Cuban oregano is a great edible plant. It is a great ally to put into your food forest or edible system. It's super easy to propagate. I just propagate it easily from cuttings. I have a bunch of cuttings here. I was able to propagate some with my son the other day. They're great for propagating and giving away and expanding your food forest. It's a bulletproof plant. Roselle is another great one. I really love roselle. The leaves are delicious. You can use them as an edible green, and the calyxes are great for my Jamaicans out there. You know, we make some sorrel a drink that we make from it. It's really fantastic. And this is a really great plant that I recommend. It's easy to grow here in Florida. Here's some additional edible plants I recommend. Sweet potato. Sweet potato is like hands down one of the greatest uh, allies that you can use. It serves as a ground cover. You can get, some good cash crop from it. The calories that come from it, the leaves you can use as well. Longevity is another great option. It's a edible perennial green that you can use. It has a lot of it packs in a lot of nutrients in it, along with chaya. Chaya is a really great one that packs a lot of protein, and it does really well. You want to use some caution with chaya though, because um, you have to cook it to take out like the cyanide that's in it. So I had mentioned about cover cropping earlier. When you decide to expand your system, I recommend expanding ahead of time. Think, as you're implementing your first system, your first island, start thinking about the future. And the way you can do it on a low budget is you can do it with cover crops. You want to till that area, you want to get it bare, you want to seed some cover crops in there. We're going to talk about the options in a second, but you want to seed the cover crops in there, and within like 3 to 6 months, you actually building a fertility area where you can start your next planting area in a super cheap and efficient way. You could, like I said, you go in there, you mow it down, you till it up, you add some cover crop in there, and you irrigate that to make sure that it's going to grow for you. And within 3 to 6 months, you have a large, lush area that's going to fix nitrogen and prepare the soil for your next planting area. Some great options for cover crops here are cowpeas, like I said, the Movano one. Cowpeas a great one. Crimson clover for like fall, winter time is a great option. Sun hemp is a really wonderful option as well. I have the picture here is a picture of sun hemp. It grows really tall and it's super good. It works in really poor soil. Like I've seen it work in like some of the worst soils, and it does well at cover cropping and fixing the nitrogen, prepping that soil for you. So plan ahead with cover crops. Here's some options. I have those options in places that you can buy them in my guide. So download that guide. It has some really great information there. So let me just check the chat section real quick just to make sure that everything's good before I kind of conclude that. All right, everything looks fine. I'm not seeing anything. All right, so to conclude everything, I know I said a lot of information, but basically start slow. Begin with small, manageable projects. Don't overwhelm yourself because it's not going to be fun if you have to go in there and start weeding and taking out weeds, or maybe things aren't doing too well or what have you. Just start slow so you can be able to make observations and adapt and retrofit if when you feel like you need to. Take it one chunk at a time. Use the island method to create small and intensive planting areas. And the crucial step, like I said, build soil. This is all about building soil. Building the soil health is the cornerstone of a successful garden, of a successful system. I'm going to reiterate, Mother Nature doesn't rush, so neither should you. Take your time, build soil, gain confidence, and then keep expanding. So I'm going to finish off the presentation here with this quote: building an edible ecosystem is a marathon, not a sprint. Take your time, start slow, build soil, and grow your system. So here's some useful books that I really recommend. David the Good, I had mentioned him before. He has a whole bunch of books that provide a wealth of knowledge for the Florida region. But the book that I really recommend is this one here called Create Your Own Florida Food Forest. Uh, if you're going to get any books here, it's this book in the middle. Um, Although I like all of them, Amanda Pike's book is just the book to have. It is something you will constantly use. It's called Transforming Florida Yards, and it's the way it's written is just fantastic. It has a bunch of cheat sheets. It has a lot of information in there, and if you're going to be transforming your yard into a regenerative system, that's the book that I recommend definitely starting out with. Grow a Little Fruit Tree is another really great option. I just got this book. I'm about to sink my teeth into it. It's good for understanding how to prune and keep those trees that maybe grow to like 40 feet or what have you to like 15 feet tall. You can train trees to stay at a certain manageable height, and that book does is highly recommended by David the Good. And I'm gonna sink my teeth into it, and I'll let you guys know what my takeaways are from it. But strongly suggest that book there. So before I conclude, actually, before I conclude, I'm going to read a poem that I wrote called Preservation, and then we'll go into Q&As and whatnot if anyone has any questions. Okay. As above, so below, metaphoric episodes. Roots of life are sown below, preservation of the soul. Stewards of the epilogue, shielding knowledge, pruning hearts, preservation of the arts, network spreading nutrient rich, abundance is a coded gift, learning lessons through the soil, ever bearing fruits of molds, diversify and witness ease, conditioning at nature's speed, healing lands, mending souls, preservation of the old, greening thumbs, transforming gold, regeneration of the bold. We turn to dirt, we turn to dirt, fermentation of our earth. I love you too, buddy. Seeding truth, seeing proof, resurrection of the style, the preservation of the wild. That is the poem, Preservation. I wrote that a little bit ago. I just went back and looked into it because I figured, hey, let me add some, look at it, and share it for the presentation. So that is the presentation. Use this QR code here to download that guide for anyone that wants to dive deeper into um, everything I was talking about today. So I hope I inspired everyone to get out there and just start regenerating and transforming your yards. All right. Let's see. Let's look at the chat section real quick. Let's see what comments are coming in. Sam says his bananas are loving all that eco hustle. Yes. That banana circle, man, it's just gobbling up. It's a really great system, and Bukashi is a fantastic. Thanks for the plug-in, Sam. Bukashi is a fantastic medium to fertilize and use into your banana circle. It's a great companion for your banana circle. So if anyone has any questions, shoot them away. Thanks, Sam. Like I said, thanks everyone for showing up. I hope everything I said makes sense. I feel like I kind of rambled through that, but if you need to go back and check out the replay, or like I said, download the guide, please do so. Also, Sam from Central Florida Abundance is a wonderful resource for information. He has a ton of videos. He has a bunch of videos on his YouTube channel that is really going to help you, understand how to. He did a video on harvesting cassava, harvesting peanuts, I think, and gave a tour of his yard. You can see the banana circle in his yard. Check out his YouTube channel. Thanks, Sam, for coming through, and thanks again, Yvette. Thank you. I appreciate you. Yvette helped me prepare for this presentation. She gave me some really great constructive criticism, and the presentation is what it is because she really gave some some good feedback. Let's put it that way. Constructive criticism. She gave me some good feedback. So if I'm gonna, I am going to share another screen to show you what the QR, what our link tree looks like. Guys, check out that QR code. I have some information there. Check out our YouTube channel, Eco Hustle. We have some cool videos there. I have a video there showing off Sam's banana circle. Uh, so check out that. Check out our YouTube and our Instagram and whatnot. Let me get this screen shared. Hold on. Bear with me, y'all. Let's see. I'm just going to show you guys our link tree real quick, and then I'll wrap that up. I'll wrap it up. Okay. All right, here we go. Here's what our link tree looks like when you go to our link tree. If you're in the Polk County area, hit me up. You know, here our services are here. You could check out our services. You know, if you want to talk further about our services, you can schedule a chat with me. Buy merch. We got some merchandise there, a couple T-shirts. If you want to support, that really helps out me and my family. My family and I, it helps us out. So, you know, if you want to support us, buy some merch, or you can donate. And here is what I want to show you guys here: the free download tips for building your backyard edible system. You could download here, download that here, and that QR code. It will take you to this link, and you can download everything I was talking about tonight with the resources and the links and things to look into, more plant recommendations. So, oh, it wasn't even showing. Here's the link. Sorry, I forgot to click the button. Yeah, so here's the link tree. Here's what it looks like. Eco Hustle, a holistic approach to hustling. Download the guide here. I'm gonna wrap this up, y'all. Thank you, everyone, again for tuning in, and for those of you who's gonna watch the replay, and just yeah, who's gonna watch the replay, just get out there, get it started, start small. Peace. Thank you, guys.